What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the blamelessly brutal Dr. Disaster, and Steam has been targeted by a lot of people on the progressive left because they instinctively understand that Steam is a bastion for the people, the chuds, who oppose them.
If you will not be turned, you will be destroyed.
Here is an article from a little over a year ago where it says that members of the U.S. government, specifically this was written by a Democrat senator by the name of Mark Warner, they sent a letter to Gabe Newell and Valve letting them know that if they don't take action against so-called extremism on the Steam platform, then they are going to come after them. You will note from the date on this article that this happened in the middle of November in 2024, which means it took place right after the presidential election, which Donald Trump won. And so what this seems like to me is the shitlibs lashing out against any edifice that they can blame for their loss because they don't want to face facts.
I'm not a loser.
We also saw the payment processors go after Steam. This past summer, Valve capitulated to the likes of PayPal and MasterCard, adopting their censorious standards, which caused Steam to have to remove a chunk of adult-oriented content from their site. Ultimately, this was a bunch of prudish and overbearing feminist types coming after Steam because they apparently can't think of anything better to do with their time than complain about the pixels that male gamers are looking at on the platform.
My problem is that I hate men, you know?
I'm chalking this all up to female menopausal situations.
And that brings me to the UK. Apparently some people over there have an axe to grind as well, which is unsurprising considering the track record of the dimwits in government in that country. It looks as though an activist is suing Steam on the grounds that the 30% cut that they take for all games is too high and is uncompetitive. Meanwhile, the competition for Steam, namely the likes of PlayStation and Xbox, those are a couple of the biggest competitors of Steam, but they are charging, and you're gonna laugh at this, but these days they apparently are charging 30% as well. So the question then becomes, why in the hell are these people singling out Steam? And that brings me around full circle to what I said at the top of this video. These feminist sewer creatures and leftist clowns perceive that Steam is infested with the horrible chuds who make Steam lists like this here, Sweet Baby Ink Detected, with about 500,000 followers. They sense that this platform is a hub for the Gamergate crew, a nexus of meme power that has been successfully pushing back against them for a long time.
A new power is rising. Its victory is at hand. To war!
Alright, me hearties, let's take a look at the details of this lawsuit that is going down in the UK. That place is just bound and determined to destroy every platform in their country that houses people who disagree with the government over there. They have been coming after Elon Musk and X for a long while now. In fact, there was talk that they were going to ban that platform in the UK. There is a reason that the Amelia meme has been such a massive, powerful, and viral hit, because it is over the target when it comes to the powers that be in that country. I wouldn't be at all surprised if this lawsuit against Steam is just the first of many actions that people over in that country take against it. In fact, there have been rumors spreading around that in that country they want Steam banned as well, specifically the government. I don't have anything against the UK people, mind you, but there has been rumors spreading that the governmental powers want to get rid of Steam. But with that in mind, let's take a look at this article here from PC Gamer, which I will link in the description. The article says here, Valve is facing a new legal headache as a tribunal in the UK has ruled that a lawsuit filed against it in 2024 accusing the company of using Steam's dominance of the PC gaming marketplace to overcharge gamers and muscle out competition can move ahead. And you know, it's funny, but did they even ask gamers? You know, the people using the platform, if this was a problem? Because by and large, I never hear anyone complaining about Steam. They just do their thing, Steam does, and they let people play video games and talk about video games on their platform. But anyhow, reading on, it says next, the lawsuit was filed on behalf of children's digital rights campaigner Vicky Shotbolt as a collective action, functionally similar to a class action representing an estimated 14 million consumers in the UK. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that 14 million actual gamers did not sign up for any class action styled lawsuit. The whole of Europe only got 1.3 million signatures on the Stop Killing Games initiative, which fights back against companies like Ubisoft who are shutting down online-only games. In other words, that is a cause that a vast majority of gamers agree with, and it is fighting back against an entity like Ubisoft, which is extremely, almost universally despised, and they only managed 1.3 million signatures in continental Europe. I imagine then that these 14 million people that they are representing, so to speak, were all compulsorily added to some list. In other words, this really is one of those, oh, won't somebody please think of the children type moments, when in actuality, nobody gives a shit about what's going down. Anyways, the article says, very briefly, the lawsuit alleges that Valve prevents game makers from offering their products at lower prices on other platforms, requires that all add-on content for games purchased on Steam also be purchased through Steam, and that Valve's excessive commission has resulted in inflated prices. And I want to address each of those points that they're making in their lawsuit here, but we're going to start with that last point because this one really makes it seem like the lawsuit is just somebody with an axe to grind against this particular company. I asked Google how much Steam takes from its sales, and it says that typically Steam takes 30% commission, but that number drops to 25% after $10 million in revenue, and it drops to 20% after $50 million in revenue. And now take a look at this Google search. I asked the same thing about PlayStation, and would you look at that? They also take 30% as the standard. Of course, they have deals that they negotiate with certain publishers. They're likely not far off from Steam's deals. But the question is, why are they not being sued as well for doing the same damn thing and charging 30%? And oh, have a gander at this. I posed this same question to Google asking about Xbox, and as you can see from the highlighted bit there, the Xbox Corporation takes a 30% cut of the digital sales of any game on their platform. So, what makes Steam uniquely sinful in this manner to the point that they supposedly have excessive commission and need to be singled out and sued for it? And now, as to the other two things they are being sued for, they're being sued because when a game is listed on Steam, the makers of the game have to agree not to sell that game for a lower price on another platform. And that point is the one with the most heft in my mind. I can see how how it hurts a platform like Epic Games who might want to undercut their competition in order to bring in business, but to be honest, I don't think it would matter much anyhow, because gamers are pretty set in their ways when it comes to Steam. There is a reason, after all, that developers agree to these terms that Steam asks of them. And also, as to the third thing that they're being sued about, the idea that all DLC that a company sells from a game that was sold on Steam has to also be funneled through Steam, I agree with it entirely, because it's in my best interests as a consumer. Anything that I buy through the Steam platform, I feel pretty safely about. I feel like it won't come with malware or anything like that. I feel like Steam is going to make sure that isn't the case. Steam will take care of me, and it is good for Steam as well because it helps protect their image. They don't want you to buy something from Steam that eventually infects your computer with something. So no, I don't think that's a problem at all. Anyhow, Valve had argued that the case should not be allowed to proceed as a collective action on a number of technical grounds, including that it will be difficult to accurately determine who is eligible to claim damages. The Competition Appeal Tribunal disagreed, however, declaring that the certification criteria were satisfied and it was appropriate to grant a collective proceedings order on an opt-out basis. So there you have it. It does seem like those 14 million people that they're trying to protect, those were names practically drawn from a hat, and everyone will have the chance to opt out from the sounds of it. And it's no wonder that elements of the UK government, namely their court system in this situation, would permit a lawsuit like this. Ultimately, the whole thing seems like a sham. These same people need to go after PlayStation and Xbox, or hell, look at this. I asked Google about Nintendo as well, and they also take about 30%. And yet, if you look at the Google search result for Steam specifically, right down here at the bottom, they are uniquely singled out on this Google search, saying their cut of the games is considered high, despite the fact that they are no higher than these other platforms. So, unless they sue these other platforms in the UK, which they won't of course, but unless they sue the likes of Nintendo and Xbox and Sony, it sure seems like this is politically motivated. In any case, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and if you have subscribed, make sure that you are still subscribed to the channel. Some people have told me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed. Oh, and also, don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But I'm gonna leave it there. It looks like there is a concerted effort by some people to damage, if not flat out eliminate Steam. Drop your contempt for the anti-Steam brigade into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.